Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are getting into a document that honestly, every single importer from China has to get right. It's called the Proforma Invoice. And yeah, it might look simple, but trust me, understanding its real power is the absolute key to making sure your import journey is smooth and predictable. So let's just kick things off with a question that I know keeps a lot of new importers up at night. What is the #1 reason you get hit with those awful unexpected customs bills or those shipping delays that just wreck your entire schedule? Well, you'd be surprised. The answer almost always traces back to a single document that you get right at the very beginning of the process. And the tricky part is, it looks just like a price quote, but it is so much more than that. And this is what you've got to understand. What seems like a teeny tiny mistake on that first document can set off a huge domino effect. We're talking major budget blowouts, customs holding your goods hostage, basically a whole world of stress you really don't need. That document is the Proforma Invoice, or the PI for short. And that's what this explainer is all about. We're going to decode it. You need to stop thinking of it as just a quote and start treating it like the strategic roadmap for your entire import. Get this right, and all those problems we just talked about, they just kind of melt away. So what is it exactly? Well, think of a Proforma Invoice as a preliminary bill of sale. It gets sent to you before anything is shipped. It's the foundational agreement, you know? It's the document that makes sure you and your supplier are 100% on the same page about every single detail. Okay, so what's actually in this thing? A good PI is packed with critical info. You've got the basics, of course, buyer and seller details, but the real meat is here. You got product descriptions, the super important HS codes for customs, pricing, payment terms, and all the logistic stuff, like Incoterms, which define who's responsible for what, and the total weight and volume, or a CBM, which basically determines your shipping costs. Every single one of these lines directly impacts your final cost and your timeline. Now, this is where the PI really shows its power, so listen up. It's not just a document for you and your supplier, no way. It is the single source of truth for literally every partner in your supply chain. Everyone looks at this thing. And just look at how this breaks down. Your customs broker, they're looking at the product description and HS code to figure out your duties. Your freight forwarder, they absolutely need the weight and volume to even give you a shipping quote. Even your bank is looking at the payment terms to process the wire transfer. You see? Everyone is pulling their data from this one document, so an error in one spot creates a massive headache for everyone down the line. Okay, I know this can feel a little abstract, so let's make it real. Let's say you're ordering a bunch of electronics from a factory over in Shenzhen.
All right, your Proforma invoice says you're ordering 5,000 pieces of these electronic boards. Nice and simple.
The total value of the order is listed as $17,500. That's the number your bank's going to use, and it's the number you'll use for all your financial planning. And then, this is a big one. The total volume is 3.2 cubic meters, or CBM. That single number is everything to your freight forwarder. It's how they decide if your shipment is going by sea or by air, and it's how they calculate your freight quote. And see, that's the magic right there. With just those few accurate pieces of data from the PI, you can confidently budget your cash flow, and your freight forwarder can give you a really solid estimate of your total landed cost. No surprises. This is why the pros live and die by this document. But what happens when that data isn't accurate? This is where things get ugly. We're talking about those small, innocent-looking errors that can have truly massive consequences for your business. So what should you be looking for? Well, things like vague product descriptions that customs can't make sense of, or missing or just plain wrong HS codes. But the big ones for logistics are inaccurate weight or volume. Let me walk you through just one error. Let's say your PI lists your cargo volume at 2 CBM. Your forwarder books you that exact space. But oh no, the factory used thicker boxes, and the real volume is 3 CBM. It gets to the port, and it doesn't fit. Now your shipment gets bumped, you miss your deadline, and you're paying storage fees. All from one wrong number. It's a nightmare. You know, there's a saying among importers that just hits the nail on the head. If your Proforma invoice isn't clear, your final cost won't be clear either. It's as simple as that. And by the time you find out something's wrong, it's usually way too late and way too expensive to fix. So how do you stop this from happening to you? Simple. You use a checklist. You do a quick review before any money gets sent and before a single item gets made. I'm telling you, 5 minutes here will save you weeks of frustration later. And here it is, your 5-point PI check. Number 1, confirm that HS code. Is it right for your product?
2. Verify the Incoterms. Did they list the correct port? 3. Double-check those weights and dimensions. 4. Make sure the payment terms are exactly what you talked about. And 5. Do the product descriptions on the paper match the sample you approved?
Let's just focus on that first one for a second, the HS code, because this is a huge pitfall. Never, ever just assume the supplier's code is correct. Sometimes, a factory might use a code that's just convenient for them, not the one that's actually correct for your product. The pro move is to always verify it yourself or, even better, with your customs broker. It can save you a fortune in duties.
So here's the bottom line. That Proforma invoice isn't just another piece of paperwork. It is the starting blueprint. It is the architectural plan that your entire import operation, from production all the way to final delivery, is built on.
Every single import you ever do is going to start with this one document. So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time one lands in your inbox, will you know for sure that it's accurate? Because getting that right from the start makes all the difference in the world.